Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Bob Power, and on behalf of OTC Markets, as well as our co-host, Skyline Corporate Communications Group, we're very pleased you've joined us for our next live presentation from BTQ Technologies, a technology company working to safeguard critical networks using post-quantum services and solutions. Please note you can submit questions in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Olivier Roussy-Newton, Chief Executive Officer of BTQ Technologies Corporation, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol BTQQF and on the NEO under the symbol BTQ. Welcome, Olivier.
And nice to have the opportunity to present what we're working on at BTQ. As you alluded to, we're operating in the world of quantum computing. A little bit about myself and how I got into this position. I've spent the better part of the last decade specifically focused on cryptographic infrastructure. Previously in the form of blockchain networks, having founded a company called Hive Blockchain that's listed on the NASDAQ under Hive, where we set up large-scale data centers that were built for mining Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's, over the course of that experience, really took a deep dive into understanding other forms of cryptographic infrastructure and how our current cryptographic security and infrastructure is at threat to the acceleration of quantum computing and what's called quantum supremacy. So when quantum computers reach a size of power that will break all existing cryptography that we use in things such as digital currencies, core infrastructure, RSA, that is being used around the world. So I'll just get started with some of our slides here. So we have a global presence, so operate a very global company with offices in Vancouver, Canada, Liechtenstein, Taiwan, where the majority of our engineering offices sits. We have a research hub also both in Japan, Tokyo, and Sydney, Australia. So we have, I believe now just under 40 employees, primarily focused on the engineering of post-quantum encryption software and hardware. To the next slide. So a little bit about what we do on a day-to-day business. We've done things like establish the first NIST-compliant post-quantum aggregate signature scheme. So just to give a bit of background on what's happened in the world for the last 8 years, the U.S. government has been running a open challenge to select, verify, and identify specific post-quantum encryption standards that are being enforced across the U.S. government and by governments worldwide for the upgrade of essential security infrastructure. And so these large algorithms that have been made accepted and standardized by NIST often are very big in size. So figuring out how to implement these technologies into everyday technology applications has been a core focus of our intellectual property. We have a global leading patent portfolio, and some of the first commercial use cases of our intellectual property have been worked on, tried and tested in things like blockchain environments, which has been a very good use case for us to demonstrate the aptitude of our technology in a very high throughput low latency environments, which also applies to a lot of other technology challenges that we're seeing for when sectors are looking to embrace upgrades to post-quantum security. So what we think is unique about our company is we give investors exposure to the fast-growing post-quantum encryption market that's being progressed by some of the biggest companies in the world. Google, Intel, IBM, Microsoft, also nation states, China, the United States, Russia are all spending multi-billions of dollars to achieve quantum supremacy, which means there will be sooner rather than later large quantum computers capable of factorizing the underlying encryption and mathematics that is used in everyday security. Our initial focus as a company was to implement post-quantum encryption standards within blockchain environments. Obviously, digital currencies are widely known and used, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, and as governments also start implementing central bank digital currencies around the world on blockchain systems, there has been a unique use case for post-quantum blockchains, as highlighted in various research papers and executive orders from the White House for their establishment of central bank digital currencies on blockchains requiring post-quantum signature schemes. So we believe we have the best-in-class aggregate signature schemes to essentially compress those algorithms to make them work within blockchain environments. By doing so, we've developed a portfolio of intellectual property where by miniaturizing post-quantum encryption into other form factors and environments, we are also in the process of licensing that technology and also productizing that across both software and hardware environments. So a little bit about our team and board of directors. Chenmo Chen is our chief cryptographer. I have the pleasure of working with my younger brother, who's the COO and has been based out of Taiwan, operating the engineering team. Ming Chi, Po Chan, Peter, Kevin Mulhern are all very helpful on a day-to-day business in terms of establishing ourselves as a market leader in post-quantum cryptography. So some other team members, and we're always in the process of expanding our team and working with universities globally in various different form factors, and also creating an ecosystem and a home for some of the leading quantum minds post their academic tenures at various different universities, and we hope to continue doing so. So for people not so familiar with post-quantum security standards, its implications, as I alluded to earlier, NIST, the National Institute for Science and Technology in the United States, started their first workshop in 2015 to assess and look at standardizing encryption standards for this post-quantum world that we're entering into. Why this matters is, on a typical time frame basis, it takes roughly anywhere from 5 to 10 years for large governments, institutions, financial companies like banks, insurance, to upgrade their technology infrastructures. So in just around this time last July, NIST identified the first 4 algorithms that were standardized, and as a company, we were already working on implementations of some of these standards. So as a company, we bet on the right standards being standardized for our work to essentially take those standards and embed them within software architectures and hardware architectures for the commercialization opportunities that present themselves. So just talking about a high-level overview on some of the four digital signatures that were selected. So this is a slide that specifically goes over the illustrative use cases and sectors that are of targets to post-quantum attack vectors. So basically everything we touch or we see in our daily lives, whether it's core energy infrastructure, banking, the mobile phone networks and communication devices we use on a daily basis, are all at risk and will need to be upgraded by various implementations of software and hardware. One of the largest companies in the world, Huawei. This is just a clip on the CEO saying that blockchain is worthless in the face of quantum computing. So, with my background coming from Hive and our industry acumen in the blockchain space, we really wanted to stress test this technology in a business environment where we have connections and can scale the commercialization and attributes of this technology very quickly. And this was also made present to the world when several months ago Ethereum, the world's second largest blockchain, announced their intention to move towards post-quantum encryption for the underlying security of their blockchain technology. So just another kind of general slide on the differences between classical computers and quantum computers here. There are, I believe it was a few days ago where there was an announcement by Google about one of their quantum computers achieving a mathematical problem that the classical computer would have taken 47 years to do. So we're in this, era of, hyperscale exponential technology, and every day it seems there's an unparalleled breakthrough coming from either research groups and academia around the world, or some of the largest companies in the world also exploring the advancements of quantum computing. So with all that, how our company fits in to the fold here is through four different product offerings. So one of them is Keylung, which is our zero knowledge toolkit, which is positioned in an enterprise SaaS format for the adoption of zero knowledge cryptography, which is another form factor of advanced cryptography which the world is going towards, and allows for very innovative cryptographic applications being built on top of that. So we're in several advanced discussions with leading companies around the implementations of Keylung. Kenting relates to Keylung in that zero knowledge applications rely on zero knowledge proofs, which require hardware acceleration. So we're also building the energy efficient toolkits and frameworks for that computation under Kenting. PQ Scale is kind of a fully fledged production ready product which can be operated by any blockchain in the cloud. So we've been working with a number of some of the largest blockchains in the world on improving the scalability and resilience of their blockchains to enter into a post-quantum world. And similar to my previous business, Hive, where we monetized that business in the form of cryptocurrency mining, so by providing hardware for the creation of blocks that would produce Bitcoin or Ethereum, we see a new paradigm of blockchains operating and requiring computational power for the provisioning of enhanced security and specifically quantum encryption security. So we will be monetizing PQ scale by the integration of that within blockchain environments. And our fourth and least but not last is QSIM. QSIM stands for Quantum Compute in Memory. Compute in memory is a fairly new chip paradigm, the sense that has been widely used for artificial intelligence and using very complex computational parameters in hardware setups that require less and more energy efficient computation. So we're very excited about a Q1 2024 launch of that, the first chips of QSIM and have been in advanced negotiations around the licensing of QSIM technologies to some of the industry leaders in the semiconductor space. And just to give you a general sense of where QSIM fits in and how that makes sense in terms of everything we've discussed today, is that with the standardizations and enforcements of post-quantum encryption across basically every different sector, specifically in the United States, but around the world, there will be a need for upgrades in chip technology. And some of the largest hardware and semiconductor companies where our engineering base is also situated in Taiwan have expressed the need for post-quantum chip architectures to fulfill their existing client base's demands. So we're looking at everything from telecom to the automotive industry and anything where chips play an integral part of the supply chain dynamics, and going into different types of technologies around the world. For instance, within the automotive space, you have things like autonomous cars coming out. So our governments in the future going to be allowing for self-driving cars to not be secured or have quantum security enabled within those technology environments. That's simply not going to be allowed, and we hope QSIM to play a very important part in those hardware architectures from these variety of different sectors. So this kind of encapsulates a bit about a few more kind of bullet points on some of the different products that we've already essentially covered. So yeah, diving into our specific partnership with ITRI, which is the leading semiconductor research institute globally, also based in Taiwan. They are famous for incubating TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor, and also UMC, two of the largest semiconductor companies in the world. And we've been working with them diligently for over 2 years now on the development of our QSIM suite of post-quantum chip technology. So we are very fortunate to have the brains at ITRI behind us, and also their expertise and knowledge in the development of intricate chip technologies, and also the commercialization attributes of this technology into licensing agreements and industry feedback for us to ensure that our products and hardware roadmap fit into the end users desired goals there. And this is kind of a bit of a high level overview on the QSIM business model. So obviously we are providing the post-quantum silicon IP for chip security implementations in things such as IoT, consumer devices like your iPhone, automotive, mobile telecom, And then we have also our security chip turnkey solution, which is a abstracted layer of that chip, which will be implemented in these hardware security module applications, which is it's a very large addressable TAM from everything from payment processing to database encryption, and then the suite of TPM applications, which cover everything from IoT to specifically automotive. So we're very excited about providing various form factors of the chip at different levels for us to enable the highest margins and also industry uptake for the licensing of that technology to ultimately be in devices, cars, and end products that will need quantum security. This is Stellar, which is one of the top 20 blockchains in the world, just shy of a $3 billion market capitalization. We've begun working with them for the advanced security of their blockchain and exploring use cases. They've published several reports around architectures for central bank digital currencies, which if you type in CBDC post quantum on Google, you'll see the government requirements and what I think will soon turn into regulation. So all of these government central bank digital currencies will have the need and requirements for post quantum encryption within their specific protocols, and we believe we're in the best position to service those CBDC and other blockchain environments through our product offering PQ Scale. And another very interesting kind of research initiative that we've undertaken is with Professor Gavin Brennan, who's one of kind of like the leading minds in quantum computing and research globally, out of the University of Macquarie's Quantum Engineering Center. And he's been helping us devise a new proof of work consensus protocol for blockchains. Obviously, most people have heard of the large amount of energy being consumed by blockchains like Bitcoin. So we have designed and published a paper that was covered in New Scientist, and we will be in the process of announcing the commercialization aspects of this work and production ready blockchain environments which use quantum computers for the first time in the consensus protocol. So right now you have what is called ASIC computers, which are use a lot of energy, not necessarily clean energy around the world, and that's been a large concern for a number of people. And as the demand for things like Bitcoin increase, the demand for energy increases. So we have come up with some groundbreaking research on how quantum computers can replace this energy consumption done in traditional proof of work formats, which is the consensus mechanism that Bitcoin uses to be, as we've tested, close to 90 to 95% more efficient at present. And this is a little bit more about our news releases that we've announced. And it's highly technical, but in essence, these new blockchain architectures that we're proposing are one, more energy efficient, and two, are also innately quantum secure. So you don't have to worry about quantum threats being an attack vector like the existing blockchains that everyone's using. So yeah, this is a a bit about our company's trajectory. We've been trading since February, so we're kind of in our infancy as a public company, but spent the better part of a decade formulating a lot of the intellectual property and research behind BTQ. We've had lots of mainstream media attention that I would point anyone to read up on the topics, the specific threats that computers pose, and yeah, lots of publications, Bloomberg, CoinDesk, and a few other ones. If you go to our press section on our website, you can find most of them there. And yeah, these are some appendix slides that are also, I think we're kind of running low on time here, but all can be found on our public deck. And if anyone has any further questions, you can reach out to Bill at btq.com, and he's the head of our investor relations, and we'd be happy to set up calls and answer any of the questions people might have. So I'll get to the first question is from: do you anticipate revenue in 2023? How big can this company get? So obviously a good question. We're in the business to ultimately and make money off our intellectual property portfolio. We have a very robust pipeline of near and longer term revenue opportunities, and we are some of the revenue opportunities have been with significantly large corporations. So there's a process that needs to be abided by and gone through. But we hope to be putting some of the diversified products, the 4 products I went over, specific revenue information about those in short order. The next question: can you speak to your IP portfolio, and do you have any research partners? Yeah, so our IP portfolio is predicated on my personal investing in a quantum encryption, a bunch of quantum encryption intellectual property over the course of the last 10 years. We have one US granted patent that we've press released, that has also had patent acceptance in the EU, and we have a whole team dedicated towards our intellectual property portfolio, which is actively filing patents pretty much weekly. We also have a great legal team that it's not every day you find legal experts with also PhDs in quantum communications. So we have some great minds on our intellectual property team. And yes, our research partners, we have formal engagements, probably the biggest one being Macquarie University out of Australia, where they have a great quantum, they call it the quantum terminal, but some of the brightest minds in the quantum computing space that we partnered with. And we also have wide-ranging partnerships with a number of universities around the world that we're collaborating with on taking what is largely research-driven intellectual property to commercial applications. So another question here is: can you further discuss your new encryption algorithms and how you plan to protect your intellectual property? So we have basically come up with the new encryption algorithms that have been submitted to the NIST standards. So NIST has a application framework that is open. So there's been 4 initial NIST submissions, and we have submitted one as of June 1st. That will be going through the NIST submission, and we hope to have standardized. And there's specific attributes of our intellectual property, like how we are designing the chips, how we aggregate the signatures, so how we compress the quantum encryption algorithms specifically in our aggregate signature scheme intellectual property to miniaturize and maximize the efficiency of these quantum encryption algorithms in very high throughput, low latency requirements. So what is the total addressable market you are pursuing? Next question from Alex. What is the total addressable market you are pursuing and milestones to end of year? So that's a great question. Obviously, we see quantum computing changing the paradigm of the global cybersecurity landscape. So that is a multi-billion-dollar sector per annum, and we hope to play an integral part of providing intellectual property products in the form of software and hardware offerings to fill the void of what will be a large market. Our goals towards the end of the year would be to achieve showcase our robust revenue pipeline, announce new product offerings that we have as a company, and continue to do what we're doing at larger scale. So continue the hiring of some of the leading minds in the quantum computing space and applying their knowledge to the near-term quantum computing applications that we see best to monetize as a company.